Hola, ¿qué tal? Muy buenas tardes a todos. ¿Cómo les va? Yo espero que bien. Me presento aquí, MC Amber, acá comenzando esta entrevista a este compositor llamado Aurelleah, quien, bueno, también de vez en cuando hace dibujos, hace arte de esta y otras formas. Um, so well, Master Aurelleah, when you want, introduce yourself, make a better presentation than me, please.
Okay, yeah, no problem. So apparently, I guess that didn't come through properly. So my name is Aurelleah. I am a musician, um, self-taught musician. I went to school a little for. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me just start over here. My brain had a bit of a hiccup. All right. So I'm Aurelleah. I have been making pony music now for about 7 or 8 years. Um, I got into the fandom roughly when season 4 ended, um, and I've been making pony music pretty much ever since. Um, I make orchestral music, electronic music, and I'm mostly known for my remixes of songs that have appeared in the Generation 4 of My Little Pony. I do art on the side as well. I'm self-taught with that as well, and yeah, I really like doing music stuff. I don't know what else to say about that. Like I live in Canada, so roughly in the middle of the continent of North America, um, right on the border of Canada and the United States. Actually, it's a province called Ontario, and yeah, that's just a little introduction for who I am.
Okay, got it. Thank you for making your introduce yourself again. Ah, my my mistake. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. My first presentation, it's too bad it didn't come through because I actually nailed it the first time. The second time, my brain was like, "Man, okay, what have I said? What have I not said yet?"
Out. Well. Um. So well, later you will talk about yourself more calmly. Just just make we will make everything possible as we want. Yeah. So well, let's begin. Master, what's your opinion about the the principal series of the Generation 4 of My Little Pony?
That's an excellent question. Well, I definitely I liked it a lot. When I first got into My Little Pony, I was pretty much instantly entrapped. I first learned about the series when I was um, I don't remember how old I was, but I was babysitting my younger kids, or not my younger kids, my younger siblings. And it came on the show, and I was like, "Hey, this is kind of funny. This is kind of relatable." I liked the characters, so I started browsing, um, the memes. Like I was on the website, like My Little Brony, looking at like the memes and stuff like that, and that kind of pulled me in a bit. Um, so yeah, I liked the series basically from the start. I think the characters are very relatable. Um, the animation has gotten absolutely phenomenal over the course of the time that the show has been running. The facial expressions that the animators are able to do or have gotten so much better. It's very fluid. I like it quite a bit. Um, what I like too about the Gen 4 series of My Little Pony is that there's so much lore. There's a lot of backstory and a lot of little bits and pieces like that people who make content like music or art or who write fan fiction, they can take those ideas and they can build on them. There's a lot of potential for world building. Like, you know, for example, because of the very famous situation of Luna, being banished to the moon, leading to animations such as Lullaby for a Princess, for example, or some of my own music. So there's a lot of potential for people to be inspired to make art, whether that's visual, auditory, or otherwise, literary. Equestria Girls, I wasn't quite as into it, just because for some reason, like, because it's humans, it's a little bit less novel. I like the pony specific aspect of the show. Like, for example, like how when the ponies get excited, they kind of tip tap on their hooves. The way that things are different in their world, their universe, because they're that a species that walks on all four legs, right? With Equestria Girls, that novelty is not quite there. I still like it though. It's it's still enjoyable. Just I didn't get quite as into it as I did with the original animation.
Wow. Yeah.
Hopefully that's an acceptable answer.
You really found a lot of things to enjoy in that series.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to enjoy.
Got it. Curious, did you mention the story? Yeah. You didn't mention the colors or the design? You take the history or the little details there. What?
Yeah, there's a lot of bits of story that people can take and they can run with it and they can write their own stories about it, and I like that a lot. Yeah. It's a very deep show compared to a lot of other cartoons out there.
Yeah, good observation. So, and what about Equestria Girls?
Well, like I said, Equestria Girls, I never got into it quite as much as I did with the regular show, because you don't have the novelty of the characters being ponies, right? Overall, I still enjoyed it, but the pony version always caught my attention a lot better.
Oh, right. And what do you think about the Generation 5? Do you like the movie? Do you like the series? Tell Your Tale and the special Make Your Mark? The comic, of course. Do you think the future content will be of your enjoyment?
I do think that I'll enjoy future content. I have not seen the Tell Your Tale series, and I have not seen the Make Your Mark special. I don't think. I saw the movie, and I think that's all I've seen about it so far, but I really like the characters. So I can only really speak for the movie because that's, like I said, all I've seen. But from what I've seen, the characters are adorable. Both Izzy and Sunny, both. I'm sure that there's other characters out there, but those are the only two that really caught my attention. I definitely want to write music about those characters in the future. I want to do art about those characters in the future too, because they're just great characters. You can sort of tell that there's a lot of the personality of that the writers tried to put into them that parallels very closely to the kind of personality building that the writers did in the Gen 4 series, we'll put it that way. So yeah. No, I liked it quite a bit.
Okay, got it. So, at least you can think the character from the Generation 5 are different from the Generation 4, right?
Well, I think because the animation style is different, like there's just a lot of different. It hits a lot of different. It hits a lot of different. What's the word I'm looking for? It checks a lot of different boxes for me than Gen 4, because the being 3D, it has a different feel to it. It's kind of hard for me to explain, but I like them both, but I like them both for slightly different reasons, if that makes sense.
Right, got it. Well, I understand if you don't see the specials or the YouTube series, they can be a little easy to distrust Be- because the opinion of a lot of bronies, or yeah, or I'm wrong.
Sorry, was that a question?
Oh, sorry. Do you have any reason to you don't see the YouTube series?
Oh,
Did you tell in the special?
there's a few reasons. Mostly it's just personal reasons. Like, I haven't been watching a lot of like new content. Like, I haven't even finished the Gen 4 series yet. I still have to see the last two seasons of Gen 4. So part of it is just overall lack of motivation. It's one of the reasons I haven't been doing as much music and art lately as well. It's just like I'm kind of caught up trying to take care of things in my personal life, and it just hasn't left as much time for it.
Okay.
Pretty
Got
much.
it. Okay, got it. Then. Well, if before the next question, greetings to first Camila Figueroa, who are talking to me about why My Little Pony, the Generation 5 are now are now living in in television. It's because the low rating, sadly. Well, and greetings to Simple Sample 2 and Jet. Okay.
Sorry, if that was another question, I didn't get that.
No, I didn't ask anything,
Okay.
but I will. Now, well, if you want, and with more detail, talk about yourself, what you do, what for example, what is your musical gender? Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So in terms of like all of what I've done a lot of fan music. So I've done original songs, for example, Midnight Lament, On Wings of Moonlight. Those were original orchestral songs that I wrote to tell stories based off of the story that was written in the show. So in addition to that, I've also done a lot of remixes. With my remixes, I have the tendency to take the original songs that were in the show, and rather than trying to change them significantly, because most remixers do that, like they'll take the vocals and they'll take and they'll build a song just around the vocals or just around like the melody, and I don't really like to do that. So I tend to take the original song and just try to enhance it a bit, add more instruments, kind of flesh it out. sometimes with my remixes, for example, of Best Friends Until the End of Time, you know, I took that song and I made it a little bit different. But when I remixed, for example, You're in My Head, Like a Catchy Song, The Perfect Pair, that's more the kind of remix that I tend to do best at, is just kind of enhancing. When I'm not doing music, I like to do art. I haven't done art in a while because of some personal issues, but yeah, I do a lot of different art styles. I used to do a lot of commissions back in the day, although I haven't had the chance to be able to do that again for personal reasons. And I think that's pretty much it. I just do art. I do music. Remixes. That's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Very interesting. Yeah, let's talk about the devices. What kind of hardware and software do you use to make music?
So I actually have a list of the things that I use on my channel about page. I'm just going to pull it up real quick, and I'm just going to read off what I have there. So in terms of software, like obviously we have a computer, but for the software, for music, I use a program called FL Studio 20. My main synthesizers for making like the electronic sounds, I use a program called Serum and a program called Silent One. I do orchestral music, and when I am using orchestral, or when I'm producing orchestral, I use libraries from East West Quantum Leap Hollywood Orchestra. Their Composer Cloud is the primary thing that I use. I also use Native Instruments stuff, like I use Metropolis Arc, Action Strikes, Damage, you know, the classic Native Instruments complete type stuff. For piano, I use a piano plugin called Pianotech version 5, and I use pianos from the East West Quantum Leap library as well. For my art, I use Paint Tool Sci primarily, and I use Photoshop as well. In terms of hardware or devices, like I have my computer. There's not a whole lot to say about it. Like in terms of specs, like it's an i7 8700K overclocked to 5 gigahertz. I have a 1080 Ti for my graphics card, 64 gigabytes of DDR4-3000 RAM. And I have 4.5 terabytes of NVMe PCI Express storage, so solid state drives. I have a piano, so I have a complete Control S88 fully weighted key, full length piano. I've got a Fender acoustic guitar, an Epiphone Les Paul Standard Pro for my guitars. My amp is a Boss Katana KTN50. I have 2 microphones, AT2020 and AT4040. I mix on headphones primarily, so that would be Sennheiser HD600s and ATH Audio-Technica M50X. I have speakers, studio monitors for producing music as well. Those are JBL 308P MK2. And a Focusrite 2i2 for my audio interface. That's pretty much it. That's complete list of all the devices that I use for making music and stuff.
Wow, a lot of devices. I have to say. I mean, if someone will make the same question, you will take the guy and make you uh, to a link.
Yeah,
And
I sent you a link in our Discord conversation that has a link to that page that has that list if anyone wants it.
well, but it's cool that you share your secret. Okay. What do you consider your inspiration and motivation to, in this case, make music?
I have a lot of different inspirations. Wooden Toaster was the original inspiration that I had for music. Ponyphonic, of course, was my first inspiration to do orchestral. Um, Assertive Fluttershy. I don't know, pretty much just all the music that I listen to personally from other Brony artists. So let me just pull up a list of my music here, and I'll just go through the list. Pretty much like I was inspired a lot by people like Radiark as well, like to get into orchestral because he was making some pretty awesome music back in the day. Fritzy Beat. Let's see here. Actually, that's pretty much it. So, yeah, no, just some of the originals, like Wooden Toaster was probably the biggest inspiration that I had for music, and then Ponyphonic was next after that. But I'm also inspired by a lot of like non-Brony artists. Like I inspired a lot by like Mariana's Trench, Rise Against, All Time Low. I listen to a lot of like Two Steps from Hell, so they influenced my music quite a bit as well. There's another pony artist, actually. I think it's Frozen Night or something like that. He makes really, really good orchestral music too. I've lost contact with them, and I actually forgot about him until just thinking about it now. But I remember he was a big inspiration for me as well, just because his music is just so serene. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh, right. Good inspiration, I can say. In fact, I didn't hear nothing about the about Certified Flash a long time ago.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like a lot of those artists that were making music back in the day, like Assertive Fluttershy, Alex S, like Ultimate Sweeter Bell, the Eurobeat guy, like the original Discord, of course. Yeah, like there was just a lot of musicians back in like 2012 era that were really, really big, and listening to their music kind of inspired me to make music like that as well.
All right, obligatory, obligatory for everyone to if they want to know about Brony music. Well, give me a second, please. Oh, tell me about the obstacles. Something discouraging to you to make your work.
So obstacles for me, stumbling blocks and things that are discouraging for me, honestly, it's primarily my own mental health outside of my Aurelleah alias, so real life mental health issues and struggles, whether or not I have energy, because I do work, a day job. So energy after work plays into it a lot. When I make something like a song that I put a lot of work into and I feel like it's going to be a really big hit with my listeners, and then like the YouTube algorithm doesn't pick it up, so it doesn't get a whole lot of views, that can be really, really discouraging. You know, everybody likes to have that payoff for doing a lot of work, having it reach a lot of people, you know, especially when some of my songs in the past are now up to almost 2 million views per song, you know, and then you make a new song and then the song has only like 16,000 views after a year. Yeah, it can be a little bit discouraging that way as well.
Wow. That's kind of sad, but it's necessary to confront the reality of the fandom sometimes. Well, you have the resources to make a big project. Let's call people, money, time. What do you want to do?
So I guess so. The question is, if I have the resources to make a big project, whether it's people, money, and time, what do I want to do? So I guess that question is more like, the way that I'm reading that question is if I had unlimited resources to make whatever I wanted, what would I want to do? I would want to make an animation, honestly, because I don't have the time to animate myself. But like, there's a lot of my songs or a lot of song ideas that I have that I feel like would be really, really good alongside like an animation. But like, I can't animate, and I could learn how to animate, but by the time I actually learn how to do it and then actually went through the process, you know, it'll be like 4 years down in the future, and during that time I will not have made any new music or art, just trying to work on this animation. So if I had unlimited resources, it would definitely be to get animations for my songs, and then to write new music that would be animated, because, you know, everyone wants to hit that Lullaby for a Princess level, you know, recognition in the fandom, right? You got to get that dopamine.
Wow. That's something like a lot of people want to do, but in your case, what kind of animation do you want to make to do? A video clip, a funny music video about one of your songs.
It would be basically just telling the story that the song was trying to tell. Like, for example, when Ponyphonic wrote Lullaby for a Princess, he wrote that song before he made the animation, right? And then he made the animation after that. He like, I think it was like he drew 2 frames of the animation per day, and it took him years to make it. And I want to be able to do something like that, but I don't have the time, and I don't have the resources. So it would just be, I would want to tell a story, a really compelling story, but I would want it to be animated, basically. So probably something involving like Luna and Celestia, or maybe something involving Twilight after, you know, season 8.
Okay, right.
If that answers your question.
Mm-hmm. If my memory can work with me, I want to talk about a little more about that later. But okay, let's follow the questionnaire. Well, what is your opinion about the fandom brony in general?
The I don't have much of an opinion. Like, there's such a wide variety of people who are fans of the show. From my personal experience, interacting with people who are bronies is usually a lot more friendly and safe, generally speaking, compared to the general population. I haven't interacted with a lot of people that have significant differences in the language that they speak, so I can't speak necessarily for that. But overall, like, the type of person that gets into watching Pony generally is that kind of person that has a greater sense of empathy and who has a certain amount of kindness in their personality already, and they're mature enough not to worry too much about what other people think about them. So they tend to be more accepting. We'll put it that way.
Okay. And about the languages, did you find some difference? And what about how, for example, how they talk to you?
I mean, it varies wildly from person to person, right? Like, because different people will have different amounts of experience speaking another language. Language barriers are very difficult to work around because we have phrases in English that don't necessarily transmit or translate that well into other languages. So when I'm trying to convey a feeling or an idea, it can be difficult because I have to think, how does this sound in another language? And yeah, English is a very difficult language in general because it's very nuanced. That being said, I have a lot of fans in other languages. I just had someone send a tweet to me about, I didn't even realize that they were working on it, but someone had made an Italian cover of On Wings of Moonlight. And they sent it to me, and I listened to it, and it was fantastic. It was amazing. I'm actually going to get the link to it, and I'll post it in the chat for the video. If you give me just a quick second to find it. So yeah, like Pony and the content that people make, the music they write, the art that they make, they're not limited by language. They kind of transcend the language barrier. All right, so I'm posting it in the chat right here.
Well, probably you can expect less about that. Your music is epic, practically. Y aprovechando que estabas con el comentario. No hay nada, Valeria. Aquí se trae artista que no sin ser famoso. Trae mucho al fandom. I just said to Valeria that without being famous, we can bring anyone to makes a lot for the fandom, running. But well, about the fandom again. Do you consider the fandom generous? If someone goes to a group or I don't know, a page and asks for an opinion or help, the people there will give them. Will give that.
So the question is like, do I consider the fandom brony to be a generous group of people? And overall, I'd say that they would be. As a musician, sharing your music, having people listen to it, and giving feedback, it's a very valuable thing. So when I post music and people listen to it and then they give me feedback, like that's they're doing a lot that non-bronies, like you have to kind of it's very hard to get people to listen to music that's new outside of the fandom. I have been short for money on paychecks, and I've actually asked my Discord server that is primarily considered of bronies that I have been acquaintances and friends with for a while now, and people have lent me money until the next paycheck. Like, so there is quite a bit of generosity there, both financially and otherwise. There's quite a few people that, you know, when I was doing art, they tipped pretty good, so they would give me additional money on top of what I was charging. So that was pretty awesome. And I think overall that they're pretty generous overall, I'd say.
Wow, that's interesting. Well, there's a community, let's call group, server, forum, web page, where do you feel more united?
Yeah, I have my own server. It's called the Mango Lair. It started out with, you know, me having a server with just my closest friends, people that I really got along with, and then it grew into a sort of a community server. I passed off the leadership to somebody else. I don't actually own the server anymore, but it's still around. I'm still in it, and you know, it's probably the primary place where I socialize in the fandom. We've got almost 500 members, or 400 rather, 400 members. I can post a link in here if people want to join up. Totally up to them. It's just we speak English primarily, so but I'll post that down in the video right there.
Ok, para los de habla hispana, Aurelia va a compartir su enlace a su cuenta de Discord, o sea, a su servidor de Discord, sorry. Así que suerte con tratar de aprender inglés, como él ya dijo. But aside from that, do you have a group that is not yours, that you are united?
No, it's pretty much just this server. I mean, I do hang out on Twitter sometimes, and you know, I do some socializing that way. But yeah, the only real ways that I interact with the fandom at this time is that server, Twitter, and then, like, you know, comments on my videos or comments on my songs or art and stuff like that. I'm not really active anywhere else for the most part.
Okay.
I used to, I used to spend a lot more time on, like, for example, the MLP forums back in the day, and I used to be in a lot of different Discords for Pony. I used to also spend time on the My Little Pony subreddit, but I've kind of cut these things down because of the amount of time that it takes up when my time's already limited. So like, if I want to get anything done, like I gotta cut some of the things out. Otherwise I just spend all my time on it and then nothing gets done.
Okay, got it. Well, what do you think about the brony community in your case, of Canada?
So Canada is an extremely big country. It is huge. And the population density is very low. The city that I live in is only 75,000 people. I only know of one other brony in my city. So it's kind of hard to have an opinion about like a pony community when the pony community doesn't necessarily like exist. Like there's some in Southern Ontario in the bigger cities where there's ponies and bronies. There's I think like TJ Pones, a fairly famous pony artist that originally made the Horsewife comics and the Horsewife drawings. I think he lives in Vancouver. So, but like the difference between Vancouver and Ontario is like the difference between like Russia and Britain. Like it's just it's such a huge distance and such a huge difference in culture and like physical scenery, because like, you know, like there's mountains in British Columbia, and you know the hills that we have compared to British Columbia are like ant hills, like, you know, mole hills or itty bitty little things. So yeah, it's hard to say overall because Canada is just so big and so diverse. In terms of locally, like I said, there's just that one brony. He knows like two other bronies here. The guy that I know in this city, actually, he does the lasers for a lot of the conventions like BronyCon and stuff like that. Luna Phase Lasers is his little company, but we don't hang out or anything either, because there's such a difference between like we have like pony in common, but like to be like friends, I don't know, like for me personally, for me to be like a friend with somebody, there's got to be more compatibility than only our mutual interest in pony. So yeah.
All right, got it. Oh, and the phones. Wow. Well, we'll continue. Dile yo ask for a resume. So, you want I make a fast resume in Spanish about you. If you want, right?
What's that?
Dile yo want a resume about you. If you want, I will make it in Spanish.
Oh, sorry, but this was the question. What would I say to someone who wants to do the same like as me? Someone who wants to do music and art?
Sorry, but in Spanish.
Sorry.
Ya. I will make it fast. Ya. Así que dile yo, Aurelleah es un compositor y creador de dibujante. Así que es de Canadá. Y bueno, de Canadá su país tiene pocos brownies por ahí. Así que por ser un país muy grande y muy diverso. Yes. Something I have to ask. And what about the internet community in Canada? Is active?
I don't know, to be honest. Like, I'm not very involved in the community as a whole. Like the Brony fandom, I don't keep up with it. I don't know what the state of the fandom is in Canada, unfortunately. So I'm not a good candidate for answering that question. I tend to keep it to myself for the most part, myself and just like the little community that I built around my work and stuff.
Okay, got it. Well,
sorry, it's not a very exciting answer.
No problem. I understand. My own country, Chile, had practically dead. His random so well, like I said, I got it. So following, what what would you say to someone who wants to do the same things like you? In this case, making music and a little bit of drawing. What do you want to say?
So there's a few different ways to answer this question. There's a few different parts of it that I could look at. My advice to anybody who's about to start making music and art and then sharing them with other people is never stop doing it for fun. You know, if you do music and art with the hopes of getting famous, horse famous, or with the hope of getting a lot of attention or making a lot of money, chances are you'll be disappointed. You know, because those things don't come very often. I was in the right place at the right time for my music to get big. There's a lot of random chance involved in that, and I'm very thankful for what I've been given, but you know, it could have gone very differently, very easily. When you're doing music and art, if you do get a taste of fame and attention, or your work gets really popular, it will feel good, you know, and that's okay. It's okay for it to feel good. But if you let yourself get hooked on that feeling and you start to chase it and you just, you keep wanting to get more and more famous, it's going to lead to a lot of unhappiness because, each milestone that you reach, each time you grow in popularity, like your first 1,000 views turning into 10,000, your first 10,000 views turning into 100,000, your first 100,000 views turning into 1,000,000. Each time that number goes up, it feels less and less satisfying. And you can't chase, long-term happiness just by popularity or anything like that. And if you do chase it, you'll find yourself burnt out and you'll find yourself losing your joy in doing what you once found enjoyable. So if you're looking to get into music and art, just always do it not to be popular, but to have fun. Do it for the sake of making something that has an effect on other people. Do it because it's something that you believe in, not because of, what you might get out of it, right? The second thing that I would tell to somebody who is getting into music and art is you would be surprised how much you can learn just by fiddling around and just playing around. You don't need a good education to do music. You don't need training to be an artist. There's a lot on YouTube tutorials. There's a lot on DeviantArt. There's tutorials in there. There's also a lot of communities, like, for example, the MLP Drawing School subreddit on Reddit. They have a Discord server that you can share your art and get critique. There's a lot of free resources out there. I'd say the majority of artists that draw pony, they are self-taught amateur artists. So don't, feel as though you can't do it because you don't have a good education or because you didn't go to school or anything like that. No, you can do it. You just all you need to do is to know what to look for. Look for tutorials on what you're struggling with. And ideally, look for a mentor or somebody who you respect or someone whose art that you like. Try to get in touch with somebody who does that kind of thing and see if they'll be willing to critique your work. That way you can kind of know what you need to work on. A lot of artists out there, I'm sure, would be happy to critique your work. The third thing that I would tell to someone who is getting into music and art, it would be, don't stop listening to new music and don't stop looking at new art once you start to make your own. It's a very easy thing to forget to keep taking in these new ideas, new music, looking at new art, and then getting sort of shut out from the rest of the world, just kind of focusing on your own work. Art is not made in a vacuum. That's an English expression that means that, like, art only comes from pre-existing art. You know how you get good? You copy the artists that you like. Try to copy them. Try to do what they do. And when you are drawing inspiration from like the 12 or 13 different artists that you like, you take little bits and pieces from each artist and then you combine them in your own brain and it comes out something totally new. So your own style with art, your own style with music will come if you just make the things that you like. Don't fret too much about whether or not it looks right, just whether or not it looks good to you and other people. That's pretty much it. Those are the three things that I'd recommend. So, like, keep doing it because you like it. Don't do it because you want to be popular, because it won't make you happy. Don't get down because you don't know how to do it. Just the best way to learn is to try and fail. And then lastly, just keep doing the things that you enjoy doing, and don't be afraid to copy other artists, basically, to an extent. Not plagiarizing, but copying their style, copying little things that they do. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you. Very, very wise. That. Sometime I will make the title so the Latin American people will learn about you too. So anyway, before following the questionnaire, I'll make a petition to the people who talk Spanish and may see the interview. Bueno, gente, sí, no importa si van a tarde o no, lo importante es que les pido por esta vez, como siempre, que hagan sus preguntas. No tengan miedo en hacerlas en español, yo las voy a traducir y se las voy a preguntar, tal como ya lo habíamos hablado antes de la entrevista el maestro acá y yo. Así que no tengan miedo. Y sí, de verdad lo conoces, pero yo estoy viéndolo más a detalle. So well, enough with the talking in Spanish. Let's go. First of all, who's your favorite pony?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a very good question. I think the obvious answer would be like either Fluttershy or Twilight Sparkle. Both of them are really nice. Also, reformed Starlight Glimmer. She's nice too. And I think it would be somewhere between those three, a tie between those three.
Okay. All, all of us can understand. um, well, Aurelia, why do you have the name?
So this is a very unexciting. It's not a very exciting story. I used to play World of Warcraft, and when I was trying to come up with a name for a character, because like I was making like a female Draenei paladin or something like that, and I was just trying to come up with a name that sounded kind of like fantasy like, but also kind of feminine, because obviously I play female characters, so I just started writing letters and then chained whatever letter came, felt natural to come next in the name, and then eventually it came out like this. I've always liked names that begin with like FE and AU and things like that. So I have a bunch of different characters that were different variants of names like this, and then this ended up being the main character that I played when I played WoW, and then it just kind of stuck because I liked it, and then yeah. And it was a name that was basically never taken. Like I used it across a whole bunch of different things, and it was never one that had already been used. So it ended up being the main one that I ended up using. Not a very exciting story.
I got it. Very simple, but at the same time a little bit complicated. I like it. Well, um, it, it, do you you are in some music group, some like kind of sorry sorry, it's like Maroon Party, some group like that.
Well, I have songs that have released on like the Ponies at Dawn pony label. I was very close to releasing Chromatica on Balloon Party's on one of their albums when they were accepting submissions, but I decided against it because I liked the song too much. I figured that if I was to release it on Balloon Party, like, I don't know, they would get like a bulk of the profits for it. And I think if I remember correctly, like when they were accepting submissions, the bulk of the money from the album was going to go towards like a couple people going to like a pony convention or something like that. It was, I didn't like that idea. I could be misremembering, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But yeah, it would be primarily Ponies at Dawn, but I haven't submitted to them in a long time either. I'm considering submitting my next one to them, but we'll see.
Okay. I mean, wow, that that's something curious about Maroon Party. But I don't want to wait with that. Um, about Ponies at Down, how was be with them? Do you interact with them, or just something just song?
Well, I used to, like when I first was kind of starting doing music, we would spend time. Actually, back then they had a Skype group. This was before Discord was even a thing. So we had a Ponies at Dawn Skype group, and I liked to hang out in there. We moved over to Discord, and over time I just kind of drifted away, got more caught up just hanging out in my own server. There's quite a few also like sort of misunderstandings, or like there were some social interactions that went on in the Ponies of Dawn group that kind of pushed me to leave. People were kind of harboring resentment for certain quirks of communication that I had, and it kind of built up to one point until, you know, somebody just kind of snapped and, you know, called me out on it. We later sort of made up, and I actually it did lead to a change in the way that I was like talking with people, and I think it would be a change for the better. But like after that, I don't know, kind of drifted away from it. So I only really talk with these people on occasion for nostalgia, rather than like going out of my way to talk with them, just because it's like, I don't know, the only thing we have in common is pony music, right? So yeah, there's a lot of drama behind the scenes with like music and art. Sometimes music, especially, there's a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of just a lot of drama with the music scene.
Ouch. Sorry for hearing that. Very sorry.
Not to say anything bad about them though. Like the Ponies of Dawn group as a whole, they are good. There was like, you know, I'm only highlighting that one interaction just because it was relevant to why I don't spend time there anymore. But like overall, like there's a lot of good people in there. There's a lot of people that I would consider to be, you know, friends for the most part, at least. And you know, I don't want anyone else's viewpoint to be changed based off of one small interaction that I had that I decided to share here.
Oh, okay. That's because interviewed Robert Vampire, who had a good point of view about Bunnies Are Down. But if you have some a kind of drama, it can be a little painful. That's why it felt a bit. I don't like it. Sorry. Well, did you make music for a project or make a collaboration?
For what? Sorry.
If you make music for project or collaborate or make collaboration with other musicians.
Oh yeah, I did a collaboration with like Cadenza for Firelight. I think that's pretty much one of my only collab. Oh, I also collaborated with my mentor when I was doing the Under Our Spell remix, and I think those are the only two collaborations I have that I can think of off the top of my head.
And there are people who ask you for music for example an animation, a project or a presentation.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah, I get asked to do anime or music for video games. I get asked by people to do music for a lot of things, actually. Several people have tried to commission me for music, but like I don't compose quickly enough to be able to commission myself out like that. My workflow for music production is just not like conducive to doing commissions effectively. One of my songs, Chromatica, I did sell a license for after the fact to the producer of the game Two Finger Death Punch, which is on Steam. It's sold crazy amount of games. So Chromatica is actually in that game, and I sold a license for it for like $400 or something. But yeah, I've also been commissioned commissioned to do songs just by people not even like wanting it for an animation or something, not even wanting it for a game. They just wanted me to make a song about something, so they paid me to do it. Lunar Whispers was a song like that. I think Midnight Lament actually was as well.
Wow, very interesting. ¿Qué to say? Sorry, in a minute. Gente, ¿por qué no preguntan nada al maestro Aurelia? Porque tengo que ser yo el único que pregunta. Sorry. I asked the people for more questions because I am the only one who made them. Okay. Okay. Now, being a little bit more honest, the two reasons I asked you to make an interview. The first one's your music, very epic, very cool. Nothing to say. Even it can be a background, but I feel for the YouTube for the copyright. But
Oh, no problem.
oh, right. Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Excuse me.
Oh, nothing. I thought. Never mind. Do you have any other questions or anything else you wanted to talk about, or?
Oh, sorry. Well, thank you. Not for me, but for anyone who want them. Así que para traducirlo del inglés, Aurelleah está dispuesto a hablar con cualquiera para ni siquiera que quisiera usar al menos una parte de sus canciones. Ahí lo tienen. Yeah. And the second reason is because the boss or the one in charge of the game, the brony game, Destiny of Equestria, asked you to use your music for this game, and I participate in the development as a writer. Bueno, si nadie tiene preguntas, tocará cortarla y lo aviso. No, well, no one in the public want to make a question, so well to finish the fast. Well, let's finish the interview. So, Dylan made the question again, so I will read it. Sorry. What do you think about allowing Dylan, who is currently developing the Destiny of Equestria project?
I have never heard of that, so I can't give an opinion on that.
Oh,
personally.
Well, it will be a game about it will be a RPG about Twilight and two more protagonists helping Equestria to solve a problem about dimensions in Equestria.
Sounds interesting.
Okay. Pero bueno, let's decir yo. So well, if there is no more question, well, let's make this again. So well, you have someone to send greetings? Something I didn't ask. Something about to say about me. I made something something terrible, just say it. It's your interview.
Oh, no worries. No, I appreciate you showing your interest and looking to interview me so that some of the people from the Latino pony community can get to know me a little bit. I think that's pretty much it. I'm happy that some people were able to show up, and I'm hope that people enjoyed the responses. No, I hope that you have yourself a good day, and I hope that everyone else in the chat and everyone who is listening was able to have a good day as well. I tried to word my answers in such a way that our Latino community, for those who might not speak English very well, hopefully the answers will come through the language barrier clearly. But no, that's pretty much it. I do hope to make more music and art in the future, but right now I'm kind of mainly focusing on just my personal life and trying to make sure that I am living my life in a way that's sustainable, basically.
All right, so. Understandable. I'm very thankful that you make aside like you can your health problems and prepare the answer at least for this interview. A little question about the last thing you said. Do you have a spoiler about the next song you will compose?
Oh, like the next work? Yeah, I mean, I can share like a link to the next thing that I'm working on. Maybe you could even I don't know if you're able to play it, but you could always play it as well. I'll just send you the link to it. It's an electronic song, and there we go. I sent you the link in our Discord conversation.
Okay, you want I will share with the chat.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. But anyway, thank you again for the interview.
No problem.
I hope that you will be great about that. And again, assure to you the fandom from the Latin America fandom will know more about you, and this will be a proof about the fandom not dying, being far from dying.
Mm-hmm. All right on. I hope you have yourself a good rest of your day. Thanks again for your interest, and then I will see you guys around.
Okay, we will be.
All right, take care.
You too, Master. Have a good evening. Ay, qué malo soy con el inglés, gente. Lo siento, discúlpenme por todo. Así que bueno, lo siento, Jacobi y Alexcano, pero ya llegaron muy tarde. Creo que era todo lo que podía hacer. O sea, de efecto a preguntas. Pero bueno, pregunté lo que yo quería y a mí me gustó, no hay ningún problema. Pero gente, deberán ser más valientes con esto de preguntar. Que estos entrevistados no aparecen siempre y no son para llamarlos siempre. A diferencia de varios que ya aparecieron. So, well, así que bueno, para los latinos, ya que no todos hablan inglés en este caso, espero subtitular este pronto, pero primero tengo el del ¿cómo se llama? El de Equestria. Así que por supuesto, no se olviden por favor de la entrevista que voy a tener. ¿Cuándo? El miércoles con el Spectrum y el jueves con Renata-chan. Así que manténganse al tanto, por favor. Y por supuesto, toca mencionar con tristeza la partida del maestro Gromario del staff de Discord de Pony Latino. Pues la para él. Sabemos que no tiene tiempo para nada, tal como muchos no vamos a tener en un futuro cercano. Así que bueno, pues la con él, pues la con todos nosotros. Para bueno, afrontar esta pérdida. Fíjate, ya con todo eso dicho, no hay nada más que decir. Espero le haya gustado la entrevista, más subtitulada. Se pide hambre de Bonifritos y latino. Hasta el miércoles si Celeste quiere. Nos vemos. Pásenla bien.
Hola, soy Luz y les doy la bienvenida a Pony Latino. Aquí podrás hacer muchos amigos. ¡Diviértanse!